Hallo, meine lieben Studenten. We're going to go over the review for Chapter 1, Kapitel 1 von Deutsch im Blick. Now, I realize my camera is having a difficult time focusing on this, so if you have the review sheet, then you can follow along just by seeing kind of where I am, and I'll write in a nice thick marker so that you can see my responses that I'm writing, and hopefully we can get through this and it won't be too much of a problem. Okay, so wir beginnen mit den Pronomen. So the pronouns are those words that you use to refer to people, like ich, du, er, sie, es, wir, ihr, and sie, and then the formal you, sie. So in this little paragraph, you just want to fill in the different pronouns. Now, you have to decide which pronoun you're going to use based on the words that are in the text, right? So you're looking for a verb, and you're looking for which pronoun is going to match that verb and also make sense in context. So, dieses Semester studiere in Würzburg. Well, studiere, that has the E ending, so it must be ich. Es gibt zwei andere Studenten aus Osten, heißen Peter und Laura. So we've got Peter und Laura. We've got the verb heißen, so it has this en, which is normally ambiguous, but if you have Peter und Laura there, then you know that those two people are going to be who you're talking about. That's what they are called, so you're looking for they, sie. Now this is not big Z, it just happens to occur at the beginning of a sentence. Wohnen im Studentenwohnheim. So here you could be talking about Sie, Peter und Laura, or you could even be talking about wir, right? Because wir and Sie both have this en ending on wohnen, so it could be either one. Sie, possibly wir. Okay, manchmal gehen abends ins Kino oder ins Restaurant. Again, could be Sie. Oops, sorry, that should be klein. It could be wir, maybe. Because gehen has that en ending. Sind beide sehr nett und Peter hilft mir immer mit meinen Hausaufgaben. So you're saying are very nice and Peter helps me with my homework. Is it going to be we are both very nice, or is it going to be they? It's going to be sie, because you're talking about Peter specifically helping you, and it's just pretty rare that you would include yourself, right, and say like, oh, we do this and we live in the dorms and we are so nice. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so you've got sie sind sehr nett, ist sehr intelligent. Okay, so here we have an ist. Who could we possibly be saying is very intelligent? Well, it just so happens that Peter comes right before that, so er, or he. Laura und ich kochen oft zusammen. Okay, nothing to fill in there. Kocht viel besser als ich. So, kochen is to cook. You don't know that verb yet, I'm guessing, but that's okay, because all you're doing is you see that you're talking about Laura und ich in this previous sentence. You see that that's using this verb. And then you're seeing this verb again with just the singular ending, the T. So the T ending could be the ear form, it's true, but how likely is it that you're going to be talking to you guys in a text like that? We cook together and you guys cook. That seems very unlikely. So, sie, for singular, this is the singular sie, as in she. She cooks better than I. Aber das Essen ist sowieso gut. Morgens mache Kaffee. So, if we have mache, that's the E ending on the verb. It's got to be ich. Und frage Laura und Peter, wollt eine Tasse Kaffee? So if we're asking Laura und Peter and I'm talking to them and I'm saying, do you want a cup of coffee? I am using second person, right? I'm saying, do you guys want a cup of coffee? So here would it make sense to use the singular third person, like he or she, or would it make sense to use the second person plural, ihr, like you guys? Well, of course, you wanted to be talking to them, so wollt ihr eine Tasse Kaffee? And then, schmeckt lecker. It tastes good. Okay, so here we're talking about the Kaffee. I realize that you guys probably are having a difficult time with this one in particular because you may not know what schmecken means and you may not know whether it's der, die, or das Kaffee. Well, I'll tell you, it's der Kaffee. And in German, when you are referring to a noun that you already have in your discourse, so we know it's Kaffee that tastes good. It's not going to be the cup, right? Because the cup doesn't taste good. That's not what you're tasting. It's the Kaffee. So you're going to use the er, sie, es that matches der, die, das of whatever this noun is. So it's der Kaffee, that's masculine. So we use er for the it word. Now this is it that is referring to coffee. It is not he the way we would use it in English, obviously. Meistens antworten, ja, natürlich. Okay, so that's what they usually answer. So they, being Laura und Peter, sie. Ohne Kaffee, oops, typo, 2 E's in Kaffee. Ohne Kaffee funktionieren nicht. Are they going to be telling you, oh, some other people, they don't function without coffee, or we don't function without coffee? Aha, wir. Okay. So if some of these were difficult for you, that's okay. This is definitely pushing you, challenging you, and kind of giving a real good overview of all the different kinds of scenarios you might have when you're thinking about using the pronouns. Okay, let's go to something a bit simpler. The verbs haben und sein. So what does sein mean? Sein is to be, and haben, to have. The two most common words, well, verbs in any language. So when you have sein, this one is crazy irregular. You just have to learn all the different forms. There's very little rhyme or reason to it, but it's so common that it will be a lot easier for you because you'll use it a lot and you'll hear it a lot. So you get ich bin for the first person, du bist, er ist, sie ist, es ist, so he, she, it. But remember, these can also refer to objects that have a particular grammatical gender, like er could be der Kaffee. And then wir sind, we are. Ihr seid, you guys are, or y'all are, depending where you are from. Sie sind, so this sie is they. So we've got one z that's she, one z that's they, and then we've got a capital Z that is the formal version of you. Okay, so you'll notice that these two Z's, the plural one and the formal one, they're always going to have the same form, the same verb conjugation. Okay, now for have, haben, ich habe. I'm going to stop writing the pronouns because there's a little room there. Du hast, er, sie, es hat, wir haben, ihr habt, und sie haben. Okay, so haben follows the rule that all the other verbs except sein follow, where you have haben is the infinitive that includes the to meaning, just sort of the basic form without conjugation. Haben is also the form of wir, and it's the form of the sie plural, third person, they, and it's also the big Z, haben. So all those forms are the same in all the verbs except for sein. Okay, now when you're going to use sein and haben, what kinds of sentences can you make with this? Well, obviously, when you are starting with ich bin, ich bin, you could have an adjective here. We know a couple of those. Ich bin nett. You could have your age, right? Ich bin 20. You could have your name. Ich bin Maggie. Of course, you want to pick one or the other. You don't want to say both at the same time. And then when you have haben, there's often a noun after it. So, ich habe. You guys had a whole sheet that we did in class with a discussion where you said things like, ich habe eine PlayStation. Or you could say what courses you have, right? Ich habe Deutsch. So there are lots of things you can have. Typically, you're just going to have a noun following haben. So you can mix it up and say, er hat Deutsch, wir haben Deutsch, sie sind nett. As you like it, you can use the different pronouns and expand a little bit. Okay, we'll move on to die Nummern. These numbers are common numbers that you might encounter. So we got some zip codes and a year. Your task is going to be to spell them out as words. So don't forget that you can write each number individually. In terms of communication, that will at least get your point across, even if you might sound like, oh, maybe this person isn't as sophisticated. Well, it's still better to be accurate and to be able to convey the correct numbers, right? So 1, 9, 8, 5. You could do it individually. Or you could say 19, 100, 85. Now, das ist ein langes Wort, yeah? Very long word. But you put them all together because this is just one number. I don't expect you to do the same thing with zip codes as this, because zip codes you don't usually say like that. You usually say the individual numbers, so it doesn't really make sense to do it like 90,210. You would just say 9, 0, 2, 1, 0, 9, 7, 5, 0, 2. Okay. Also, auf der nächsten Seite, oh, I am going to have to pause this so I can print one that doesn't have the marker showing through. Okay. So this is the second page. We've got regelmäßige Verben im Präsens. We're going to fill out this chart here with the regular verb endings to match the pronouns in first, second, and third person. Then we're going to use some of these verbs to write some sentences with different pronouns as subject. So, for the ich form, you always have the e ending. Du has an st. Okay, so st, sie st, wir en, ihr mit t und sie en. Und natürlich auch sie formell, das ist mit en. So we already said that those three forms, wir, sie, and big Z, those are all going to be en ending. Okay, so let's combine some pronouns and some verbs to make some sentences here. Let's start with singular. Let's pick telefonieren. telefoniert. He's calling on the phone. He's telephoning. Now, present tense in German doesn't have a difference between the ing form and not, so he telephones versus he is telephoning. There's no difference there. It's just one kind of conjugation. So, telefoniert. Let's do sie, like Singular, dritte Person. Sie, how about sitzen? Sie sitzt. Punkt. She's sitting. She sits. How about we stay? So we're going to use wir and bleiben. Same form. We stay. Wir bleiben. So you could add some details here if you wanted to, but this is only, what, Woche 3? So, einfach ist gut. We want to keep it simple. That's good. Okay. How about they study? Sie studieren. And you could add something like Sie studieren Englisch. So you know how to make these a little bit more complex. What about kommen? You can just say wir kommen. We're coming, right? Or you can say where you're from, like wir kommen aus den USA, aus Deutschland, aus Mexico, wherever you come from. Okay, so one thing that you may have read about in Grimm Grammar has to do with any stem. So the verb stem is the part that you get when you remove the en. So like with finden, the stem would just be find, and then you put, you tack your ending onto it. So if the verb stem ends in a D or a T, then you have to add an extra E where there isn't one already. So, du findest, or findet, ihr findet. That is one sort of exceptional rule that you should remember. We don't have a lot of those verbs that we know right now at this point, but it will be a more useful rule as you continue. So with the stem ends in D or a T, then you add an E. Mostly this is just because finst and fint is really hard to articulate, and it doesn't show that you have an ending there very well. Okay. Verben im Präsens. So we're going to keep with this present tense verb theme, starting with eins, jeden Morgen ich eine Tasse Kaffee. Okay, so we need to pick a verb that's going to match. Gehen? Nope, can't go coffee. Machen? Okay, that would work. Are there anything else? Any other ones that could work? Trinken? Yeah, that works. Haben? Sure, you can have a cup of coffee. Sitzen? Nein. Sein? Nein. Telefonieren? Nein. Spielen, tanzen, kommen? Nein. Okay, so you could have jeden Morgen mache ich eine Tasse Kaffee, oder habe ich eine Tasse Kaffee, oder auch trinke ich. So either one of those three, any one of those three would work just fine in this sentence. You just have to remember to conjugate it. That's the main thing. Okay, Nummer 2. Ich sehr müde ohne Kaffee. Müde, if you remember from ich bin müde, when someone asks you wie geht's, that's tired, right? So you would say ich bin müde because it's an adjective. You can't say ich habe oder ich gehe oder ich mache müde. None of that works in this case. 3. Mein Deutschkurs von 10 Uhr bis 11:30 Uhr. Okay, so these are times. It's saying when your German course is, right? So you're going to have some kind of word that tells you that it is between those times. Does the word for is work? That would be sein. Mein Deutschkurs ist von 10 Uhr bis 11:30 Uhr. Are there any other ones that would work? It comes from this time? Nope. It dances from that time? Nope. Sits? Nope. It has from that time? Mm-mm. It makes from that time? It goes from this time to that time? Gehen would work. So, geht. That could work. I'd accept that. Okay, 4. Abends, ich mit meinen Freunden ins Restaurant oder ins Konzert. Wir, auch Videospiele wie Halo oder Skyrim. Okay, so abends, if you're doing something and then you know into a restaurant or into a concert, then you're going to go there, right? So gehe. Wir, auch Videospiele. So what do you do to video games? You play them. Wir spielen Videospiele. Ich, aus Chicago. So if you have this aus with a place, you know that you're looking for kommen. Ich komme aus Chicago. Mit meinem Handy, ich jeden Tag mit meiner Familie und Freunden dort. So what do you do with a cell phone? Telefonieren. So you have to conjugate it. Telefoniere ich jeden Tag. 6. Ich, sehr glücklich hier in Ashland. Ich bin. Obviously, the verb to be goes best with adjectives like glücklich. Okay. Letzte Seite hier. So this oddball out activity, depending on who you are, you might find it easier or harder. But the idea is that you just want to pick one that doesn't fit some category like all the other ones. So we've got grüß dich, guten Abend, hallo, and then dunkel. Well, these 3 are all greetings, so dunkel must not fit. Biologie, Computerwissenschaften, Mathematik, Kunstgeschichte. Okay, these are all Fächer, they're all subjects, academic subjects. So which one doesn't fit? Biologie, Computerwissenschaften, Mathematik, Kunstgeschichte. Well, art history is not quite the science that Mathematik, Computerwissenschaften, and Biologie are, so we're going to cross that one out. Okay, we've got Germanistik, Amerikanistik, Physik, und Anglistik. So 3 of them have to do with studying cultures, and 1 is physics. That's the oddball out. Hier haben wir 12, gelb, 230, 19. So we've got 3 numbers and a color, gelb, that's the odd one out. Ich bin müde, I'm tired. Es geht mir schlecht, it's going badly to me. Es geht mir prima, it's going great to me. And ich bin krank, I'm sick. So, prima, that's the oddball out, because all the other ones are negative. Rot, schwarz, haben, lila. We've got 3 colors and 1 verb, haben. Studieren, Polen, Hauptfach, Nebenfach. So 3 words that have to do with studying. And then the country Poland. Poland has nothing to do with studying. Okay. So here we have Sonderpädagogik, Samstag, Wochenende, Mittwoch. So 3 of these have to do with days of the week and the weekend, so units of time and days. And then Sonderpädagogik, this is special education. Okay, here, ich bin, ihr seid, du siehst, wir sind. All of them are pronouns with the verb sein, except for du siehst, which is from the verb sehen, to see. We've got Mittwoch, Geschichte, Architektur, Kunst. Well, one's a day of the week, the other are courses, or sorry, subjects. Kunst, Literatur, Philosophie, Chemie. Chemie is the one that is a hard science instead of a humanities subject. Wie heißen Sie? Wie ist Ihre Adresse? Wie alt sind Sie? Woher kommst du? Well, these are all personal questions, but one of them is using the informal du, while the rest are using Sie. Okay. Whew. Now, persönliche Fragen. Here, you guys are writing the question to get at the kind of information listed here, and then you're going to answer it. So I'll give you an example question and answer for each. Herkunft. This is the origin. It's where something comes from. So Herkunft, it has her in it, just like woher kommst du? Woher kommst du? And when you answer, you say, ich komme aus, I don't know, Neuseeland. Alter, this is your age. So, Alter, you see the word alt in there? Wie alt bist du? Okay, now these are all using du, but of course you can formulate the question with sie. You just have to change the verb as well. Okay, so wie alt bist du? Ich bin 21 Jahre alt. So, if you just say ich bin 21, that's not wrong, right? But if you want to be complete, you can add the Jahre alt, years old. Lieblingsfarbe. If you're asking what someone's favorite color is, was ist deine Lieblingsfarbe? And then you're going to start with meine instead of deine, because it's mine and not yours. So, meine Lieblingsfarbe ist rot. Someone could follow up and ask you warum, which is already written here. Why? Warum? Or you could just volunteer that information. Meine Lieblingsfarbe ist rot, weil es schön ist. So schön is that great word. Nice, beautiful. You can use it for all kinds of different things. Oh, I like red because it's beautiful. Weil es schön ist. Okay, Handynummer. That's your cell phone number. So, wie ist deine Handynummer? You could also ask, wie ist deine Telefonnummer? That's fine. You could technically ask, was ist, but wie is just the more customary way to do it. Just like, wie ist deine Adresse? And then you start with meine Handynummer ist 9956780. Okay, gut. Hauptfach und Nebenfach. There's a really easy, simple question to ask about these. Was studierst du? And to answer, you keep it simple. Ich studiere Deutsch. Oder ich studiere Biologie. Ich studiere Kriminologie. If you have a minor and you want to volunteer that information, you definitely can. Ich studiere Kriminologie und mein Nebenfach ist Spanisch. Wohnort, where you live. So, here you ask wo, not woher, because this is where from. Just wo, because you're not living from a place, you're just living there. Wo wohnst du? Because wohnen is your verb for to live in a place. So, ich wohne in Oregon. Yeah. Okay. So, das ist alles für die Wiederholung. Ich hoffe, dass es dir geholfen hat und viel Glück beim Test. Tschüss!